Hello and welcome back to a new video and a new session in our continued journey of trying to master geometry. And our today's agenda is going to be circles. But before we start the journey discovering the principles of a circle or the properties or theorems involved, once again I must point out that you can also call this topic an application of congruence, because most of the interesting results that we will prove using the same ideas that we have used earlier. That means two triangles are congruent when the three sides are equal, or there is side angle side congruence, or there is RHS congruence, etc. That means once again the basics are very important, and better they are, the faster this journey will go, right? So let's get started. First of all, what is a circle and what is the most basic property that we can think of a circle? All the points in a circle are equidistant from the center. So if I call this point A and point B and another point C, another point D, all of these points are going to be distance r from this central point called O. So O to C is the same as O to B, is the same as O to A, is the same as O to D, and as many points as you want to make on a circle. In fact, the most basic definition of the circle is a collection of points equidistant from a given point. A collection of points in a plane which are equidistant from a given point in the same plane. So all of these points A, B, C, D and as many as you can think of, if you connect all of them together, you will get a circle. And some properties of circle, I'm assuming that you already know. We will be looking at the details and the proofs of it in another session altogether. But these are such common properties that most people know them, even if they don't understand them really well. One is that area is equal to pi r square, and that circumference is equal to 2 pi r. Area of a circle is the area inside the circle. So if I want to find out how much space is this, that is going to be the area. And circumference is when I, let's say, imagine a starting point and I want to travel around the circle and come back to the starting point, how much would be that distance or measurement? That is known as the circumference. So at least for this session, and in fact we'll not be going into too many details of this nor using this, but this is just a very simple idea to get your circle theory warmed up, and most of you would be knowing this. Of course, the question should remain, and if you are coming up with that question, it's a very good habit. Why is the area pi r square? Why is the circumference 2 pi r? But that is going to be a discussion for another session altogether, because in this particular session, we want to get into the properties of chords and tangents. And if there are two chords in a circle, what angle do they create at the center? Or what is the connection of the tangent to the radius, etc, etc. So it's not that we'll be using this too much, but this is just to get the idea started, that we know what a circle is and we at least know this much. So a couple of more definitions regarding the circle. The definitions are going to be very easy, and the idea is very simple. We are simply covering it so that when you read in a question a major segment, a minor segment, or a major sector or a minor sector, you should know what we are talking about. So say this is the circle and O is the center of the circle, and P and Q are 2 points on the circle, and I draw a line between P and Q. So I can see that the circle is getting divided into two parts. Each part is called a segment of the circle. Just a term here, segment of the circle. Now there are two parts of the circle, and I can see that there is a big part and there is a small part. So the big part will be called the major segment, and the small part will be called the minor segment. To make it more clear, throw in a couple of more points, maybe throw a point R here and S here. So the major segment would be PRQ, so that it is even more clear that between P and Q we are going in this particular direction or this side of the circle. And similarly the minor segment would be PSQ. So just the definition, and a very easy definition at that. Now forget this line for a second and let me draw it this way. So now think of this pi, POQ, which looks like half a triangle but there is a curve at the end, is known as a sector. So this is one sector, and another sector is PRS. So imagine if I put it, cover it with plus signs. just to segregate it. So this would be, so POQ is one sector and similarly PRQ is another sector. And once again, one of them is small, the other one is big. The small one will be called a minor sector and the big one will be called a major sector. And once again, throwing these extra points will help, because otherwise if I say POQ, I might get confused whether I am talking about PRQ or PSQ. Therefore, having these points will help. And if those points are not given, if there is nothing given, then the question must tell you whether we are talking about a major sector or a minor sector. Because if it only said POQ or a sector POQ, it could be talking about POQ like this or POQ like this big angle, right? So therefore, if it tells me it is a major sector, I will know we are talking about the big angle. And if it tells me it is a minor sector, we are talking about the small angle. Mostly we will not be using this definition. This is just to cover the basis. In case you see this in a question, you should know what we are talking about. So finally, with those basic definitions out of the way, we get to the juicy part, the theorems that we want to work on and derive. So first of all, if I take any 2 points of the circle and draw a line between them, that is known as a chord. If you think of a circle and you think of the diameter, diameter is a chord which passes through the center. So a chord is a connection between any 2 points in a circle. Draw a few chords for yourself. This is a chord, this is a chord, this is a chord, this is a chord. And thinking of chords, I can think of the chord creating an angle, let's say with another given point. So angle PRQ is the angle subtended by the chord PQ on point R on the circle. I can similarly create another angle at the center. An angle POQ will be known as the angle subtended by the chord at the center. So with a chord you can subtend multiple angles at multiple points in a circle, or you can create an angle at the center. So this is our starting point, knowing that this is a chord and a chord can create angles within the circle. It can subtend an angle at a particular point of the circle, or it can subtend an angle at the center. And now I can work on some properties connected to these angles. For example, let's create one more circle and look at what happens when two chords are equal. So say this is the circle given to me and I give you two chords in the circle, P and Q, and I also tell you that there is an R and S. The only information given to you that PQ is equal to RS. What information can I derive or deduce about the angles that these chords will subtend at the center? That means angle POQ and angle ROS. What can I conclude, derive, deduce about these two angles? And how will I derive, deduce? Using the tools that I have learned earlier, right? So let's look at it step by step. What can I say about this angle, angle POQ, and angle ROS? So first of all, a couple of things that I have to notice is that S, R, P and Q are all points of the circle. That means the distance from O is going to be the radius. This is the radius, this is the radius, this is the radius, this is the radius. Now if I think of two triangles, triangles POQ and triangle ROS, I will write this down in a minute because I want to write it down in the congruent manner. What that means is that if I think of triangle POQ and triangle ROS, side is equal to side, side is equal to side. And in fact, if I think of PQ and RS as well, PQ is equal to RS. That means I have two triangles which are congruent to each other. That means triangle POQ is identical to triangle ROS, right? And once I know that these two triangles are congruent, I know all corresponding paths are going to be equal. I already know the corresponding sides are equal. PQ corresponds to RS. So the angle in front of PQ, the angle in front of RS, they will also be equal to each other. Because once these two triangles are proven equal, all the sides and all the corresponding angles are going to be equal to each other. and this angle corresponds with this angle. How will you figure that out? This angle was in front of the chord PQ. This angle was in front of this chord RS, and they were equal to each other. So I definitely know this corresponds with this, and therefore this angle is also equal to this angle, and it is proven that angle POQ is equal to angle ROS. The language form of this theorem would be that when there are two chords of the same size in a given circle, the angle they create at the center or subtend at the center is going to be equal to each other. So even though the theorem is about chord and circles, we once again notice that basic congruence of triangles is coming into play. So that is another idea that we will have to learn if we want to thoroughly master geometry, that topics connect with each other and there will be a lot of going back and forth. That means once you learn circle, again you hit triangles and your understanding of triangles would be better. If you have mastered triangles once, when you come to circles, life is going to be very easy, because this was a fairly easy proof. S congruence kicked in, rest was just a little more explanation. Staying with the same idea, and by now we should have a hang of this process. Whenever we prove a theorem, we also try and work in the opposite direction. We try and work with the converse of that particular theorem. So this time I want to prove that if the angle subtended at the center by two chords are equal, that means this angle is equal to this angle. Angle POQ is equal to angle ROS. This information is given to me. I must now prove that the chords are equal to each other. And by now I should be able to do this very, very quickly. This is a radius, this is a radius, this is a radius, this is a radius. So we are looking at two triangles and I have a side angle side congruence. That means these two triangles are congruent to each other. That means all corresponding paths are going to be equal to each other. These two angles were equal. That means the side in front of this angle, they are also going to be equal. That means PQ is equal to RS, and you are done. So now you can say, if you notice that the angle subtended at the center from two chords is equal, you can conclude that the chords are going to be equal to each other. And once again notice that we are using only congruence, and maybe later we will also notice, okay, that if these two sides are equal, these two angles are going to be equal to each other. And once again repeating the same idea, that if you are an expert at triangles, life here is going to be very, very easy for you.